Hello everybody, this is Artist1, the one and only, coming at you with our Week 3 battle of PSN Season 6. This week we fight Cyan21, coach of the Ulster Umbreons, a longtime friend and rival of ours. He's been a common staple in leagues I've been in, or at least that I've enjoyed, for close to a year now. A little bit under, but pretty close to a year. He brought some mons that I was expecting, some I wasn't expecting. But here, let me show you the matchup. As we see, I did bring, the team I built and the team builder that I posted Friday. And he brought Lele, Tangrowth, Mega Manectric, Alamunk, Alamomola, and Licky. Now, Alamunk I was expecting, but I just really hoped it wouldn't bring, or he wouldn't have brought it. Because, if he played it right, if this thing was like Curse or something, it blew through my team. Curse Max Spadev, I wouldn't have been able to beat it other than Garchomp if I got some lucky rolls with Earthquake. Because I think at +2, it's like some roll to 2-ko with Earth, or +2 defense on the Amok is a roll to kill with these Earthquakes from Garchomp. And the Alamomola, I wasn't expecting him to bring it at all, considering I have Coco, Decidueye, Roserade, Alochu, Zardwide Wallet. Yeah, Zardwide's a wall. To Wallet and Solar Beam it as well. Just something I didn't expect. But I guess he needed the double wish support. And another thing we're doing new this battle video is we're adding the chat. Mainly because there are a couple funny things to go on in the chat. Right here before the battle even started, I was trying to set up some recording stuff. I had to go to the bathroom real quick. I had to fix some things on my TV over here to help someone else out. Meanwhile, Cyan and my good friend Hero Mason, who's also in Pro, or actually he's in Diamond. So Joey, someone who is recording Diamond, good friend of mine and Yayan's, host of a different league that we are active a lot in, and we also participate in. He will fight him sometime eventually, and I will leave both Joey and Yan's links to their channels down below. But anyways, Hero and Cyan are talking about Cyan being kind of mad that he doesn't have a rocker, because he would have liked rocks this battle. Meanwhile, Cyan's like, yeah, the Heatran. Cyan's like, yeah, so what? I still need a rocker. Heatran gets Stealth Rocks. Now I knew that because I've used Heatran like 6 or 7 times throughout all the leagues and seasons I've been in. And you name a Heatran set, I've run it. Protect, Stealth Rock, Leftovers, Toxic, Sub, Grassium, Firium, Steelium, Poisonium, Rockium, Scarf, Specs. You name it, I've done it. But anyway, my lead, I led Coco because I saw basically nothing faster at base right now, other than maybe a Scarf Lele and Manectric while it's Mega'd, but it's not Mega'd. So I'm like, you know what? If he leads Tangrowth, hey, I'll put my Flyinium Z plan into action real quick, which thankfully he did. So I just started HP icing. Now that HP ice was an absolute min, but it's not that big of a roll, so I wasn't too mad that I said it was min in the chat. Now we're just exchanging hidden powers, but it gets down to 58. Now I don't remember what the exact roll was, but I'm pretty sure it was close to 55 to like 65, 68-ish on this roll. Maybe it was 66. For the Flyinium to kill. Because I figured out it's basically max HP, max SPDF, AV. Otherwise, that first hidden power ice wasn't a possible roll to even happen. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just go for it. Hope he doesn't switch. He didn't switch. Goodbye, Tangrowth. I got lucky he didn't switch at all, because if he'd gone to anything else, it would have been an issue. So I'm like, you know what? He knows I'm not choiced. I might as well reveal the the Volt Switch. I figured out that this Muck is in fact max HP. I couldn't tell if it was Max Spadef or AV because they were both possible roles with the spread I had. Later out in the battle, I figured out he was AV Max Attack Adamant. Which, I mean, that means the Volt Switch was a mid-roll. Basically almost dead mid-roll. Because it was like 22 to 27. I think that's a little bit... It was 22.9-ish and then 27.4. So it was pretty close to a mid-roll. And now I sent in Garchomp thinking, you know what, he might set up, he might knock off. I'm okay with it, surprisingly. Because Earthquake's going to kill this thing. Even if it's at +1, I still have a chance to. But he gets the fantastic read and Ice Punches. Brings me down to 4% and gets the 30% Poison Touch off. Which, I mean, it's the same as a Scald Burn. So I'm not super mad about it. So, I mean, incredible read by him to bring in the Ice Punch. Because I could have gone like Snorlax or Kofag and get Mommy off for start. Oh, excuse me. And start getting off like curses off on Lax, or just do two completely different things than bringing Garchomp. But I mean, I guess he went with his gut and it worked out. I even said nice because I mean, really good read. Now in the team builder, I forgot to put Rough Skin on it, which I mean would have helped for some residual, but I mean it'd be at like 60 something percent anyways, be like 62, 63%. So I'm not worried about it. It's fine. I'm aware that he was just gonna knock off as soon as I sent this thing in anyways, to get off any choice item or berry or whatever leftovers. I was okay with it because I'm gonna get one curse off reliably and hit something super hard, whether I clicked return or Earthquake. So I cursed up. I think he switches here into he poison jab, thinking just I'll go for it. That Earthquake was a pretty low roll. I'm pretty sure the roll was like 71 to 82, close to that range. I'm not entirely sure, but I knew I got the lower end of the stick there because all I knew was 75, and 75 was close to mid. It might have been a just above mid, which would be kind of considered a mid to high roll. But I don't think it was that high up. And since I got like min roll on the HB Ice and I got cucked with the Ice Punch into Garchomp, I'm just thinking, you know what, I got this. I didn't get it. So he decides to save it and goes out into Licky Licky, which is a pretty good switch. Since I mean, I guess it's max HP, max Fizdef. Not after that Fire Punch. I'm like, oh, that did quite a bit of damage. Let me calc this. Ended up being max HP, max attack Adamant. Because I'm assuming the max HP at this point, because I mean, who doesn't run max HP for wishes on Licky Licky? So I get my Rock Slip, so that Alamuck is basically dead at this point. And it helps with residual damage from like maybe Volt Switches from Mega Manectric. I'm like, I gotta get out of here, but let me get some damage off and hope for a flange real quick, just to flex on him real fast. I get the flange. He switches out, sacks the Amok. I probably should have wished there, thinking he doesn't want any part of this Jirachi. I probably shouldn't risk this. But my Interhead just get more damage. I guess I got greedy, or was thinking let's be greedy and try and get even more damage in 60% Iron Head flinches plus stab. But he just sacks the Amok. You can really go into anything here. I'm expecting Layer and make Manectric. He brings in the Manectric. Now, we were afraid of Overheat, so I decided to Protect and Scout, and luckily enough, he doesn't have Overheat. He has Flamethrower, which we were calculating earlier in the team builder. So, if y'all are watching, you should have watched that, which you now know I can eat these Flamethrowers up. It's doing 43 max, I believe, if I remember correctly. And I'm comfortable if I'm at 50 or plus, I'm staying in and doing anything I want. but I wish I go into Snorlax because I know I also eat up those hits with this base 160, I think 110 speed F as well. Might be a little bit higher. I know 110 attack. I don't remember the speed F stat exactly. So I'm looking at this Licky like, yo, you're setup fodder. But I switch out just in case because I'm scared. I think at the time I was going, yo, this is the perfect time to trick some specs onto this thing. Because all he has left is 2 walls. I mean, special attack would have been terrifying to get trick the specs onto. And Mega Electric, which would have been tricked, have been allowed to be tricked at all. Excuse me. But I go for it. I decide, hey, let's be ballsy. That crit Fire Punch. That even solidified the Swords Dance for one. Terrified the hell out of me. I'm like, oh no. Jirachi's dead if I try and switch that thing back in. Rose Red can't take him. Snorlax, if he has Body Slam return, it gets 2-code. And, I mean, Hotness, the Coco, can't take a Body Slam either. So I decided to stay in after this trick. That trick even solidified it even further that he was Z. Now, I kind of joked about it earlier in the battle, if you were paying attention to the chat over here. Hey, you better be Z Heal Bell. Because, I mean, it would terrify me as the opponent, which it does. It terrifies me thinking, oh my god, he can get up his health at any point right now. I stay in, I trick. Since I'm spexed into trick, I'm expecting either a switch or him to go for a different move, expecting me to switch. So I stay in, seeing if he has return or Body Slam. He has Body Slam. So I'm thinking, alright, he probably thinks I'm trying to sack this now. So let me go into a different Mon that I know lives a Fire Punch, which I predicted right. He Fire Punched. So I knew Coco lived the Fire Punch. It 100% did not live the Body Slam. I'm sure he was kicking himself for not clicking Body Slam on that turn. Because this thing is a threat to both LO and Licky. So I Volt Switch. Volt Switch was doing like 30 to 40-ish. I don't remember the exact roll. I think it was like 35 to 40. Probably a little bit higher than 40, but I mean, I knew it wasn't killing. Thunderbolt wasn't killing either. I think Thunderbolt at max was like 56. So I Volt Switched into a Mon I know can wall some Fire Punches as well. I go into Snorlax. Because it's max HP, the Z comes out, and it's Z Heal Bell. Turn 18 happens, but turn 10, I said Z Heal Bell. So that was, I mean, one of the main reasons I put the chat in for this battle. Because I don't usually like showing what people say. Because, I mean, sometimes, it's happened a few times where I've needed to dash mod chat plus. Because it's gotten just overwhelming for me. And I'm not trying to see people fight over what's going to happen. Or just some random bullcrap. So I'm looking at this Licky like, oh shit. I've got to try and either outplay him, outwit him, or just stall for time. Because, I mean, he uses Z Heal Bell, he can't recover again unless he switches out. Which, I mean, I'm perfectly okay with. He loses his Swords Dance, and he's taking 12 from Rocks coming back in. So I'm like, alright, let me just try and sack Snorlax. I feel kind of bad about it. But I'm like, you know what, I need the damage now. His mummy pops onto me. Oh no, I can't be poisoned. I'm not worried about it. And his Oblivious, forgot he went from Oblivious to Mummy, like, oh no, now I can confuse him. I don't have any move on any of my Pokemon that possibly have a chance of confusion. I don't have the move Confusion, I don't have Confuser, I don't have Supersonic. He's safe. I'm surprised he wasn't Cloud9 for like Solar Beam, what's it called? Zard Y. But I mean, it's alright. I forgot Rough Skin, maybe he forgot Cloud9. So I ended up just hoping he clicks Fire Punch and I live, which, I mean, it happened. because that Fire Punch was a roll to kill, and I think I gave 35 with a return here. Now, next, I had to apologize in chat. He kills me with Fire Punch, obviously, because why wouldn't he? He needs to kill. He needs to get me down. I said I need to apologize. Now, I pretty much figured out he was max HP, max attack adamant. Figured he was max attack adamant from the Fire Punch onto Jirachi earlier. And then it just confirmed it even more with the Fire Punch crit at +2 onto Kofag, which only did 39%. Kofag's one bulky bitch. The Fire Punch onto Snorlax did 25. I lived on 3. He got a max or close to max, at least 28%. I would have died. In my returns, I did 34 and 35%. The roll is basically 30 to 35. So I got a high roll and an absolute max roll, which, I mean, really helped me out. I felt bad for doing it, because now I'm guaranteed to kill with this Volt Switch, and I can go into either Kofag, Rosa, or Jirachi to wall. I guess I went Jirachi to get some wishes up, because I knew I walled anything and everything. So, yeah, I went Rachi, expecting something, I guess. I'm sorry, my brain's all over the place right now. I knew I can wall these Fire Blast Flamethrowers. I had to protect. Now, these next couple turns, dozen turns or so, I feel bad about, because I didn't want to do it, but I kind of had to do it. Actually, this is close to 20-ish turns that these two mons were just out against each other. I had to whittle this thing down. I'm going to click next turn because I don't want to stall out some time on a YouTube video. But I had to just continuously flamethrower. He had to continuously flamethrower because he had nothing else to do. I just had to wish, protect, Ironhead, wish, protect, Ironhead, wish, protect, Ironhead. Because I couldn't do anything. And all this time, he's flamethrowing. I'm pretty sure he's just hoping for a burn to try and slow the Ironhead damage, but at this point, it doesn't matter. I got a crit earlier. I got a crit Ironhead somewhere. Where is it? Here it is. A crit. It did 29%. Which, I mean, at the point it didn't matter because it brought it down to be 2-code anyways. It was going to be 2-code regardless of that crit. Because it brought it down to such a precarious stat, or HP point percentage. There's the word. He's still hoping for this burn, and he finally gets it after so many flamethrowers. After, 19 straight flamethrowers on this thing. I'm granted at least a third of those, I'd say, were on the protects. Actually, how many protects did I use? I used 8 protects. So out of 11 flamethrowers, he got it on, like, the last possible one that he needed it. If he had gotten it on any of the turns earlier, he would have been able to fire off even more flamethrowers. I think I said fire blast or flamethrowers. Get the burn off, heal, go into Aloe maybe. Because Aloe, walls this thing. And I mean, I wall Aloe as well, but I can wish into something that lives the Scald, and all of my mons live the Scald easily. I don't think any of them get 2-code. Especially Roserade, which he would be afraid of for both of his mons remaining, if it's Scarf or something. So, Siren, if you're watching, I apologize. I feel bad that I had to do it, but I needed to do it in order to get that thing out of the way. I feel bad. I'm sorry. So I wish into Kofag here, trying to trick the specs onto Aloe, because late game tech, everyone loves it. Late game rocks. Now that Shadow Ball right there signified that it's guaranteed not specs. I even wall it even further with Rachi, but that just means it's Scarf, because it already showed Z. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be leftovers, and it's not going to be like, obviously it's not Psychic Seed. Ooh, Psychic Seed, huh. I might try that with Coco. Electric Seed Coco. Get that +1 defense. Anyways, Heat Tex. I knew guaranteed wasn't specs. Specs would have either killed me or brought me down to like 10% ish. So I'm safe. I'm okay to sack this thing just outright. I Shadow Ball my own with my specs. I say it makes sense because he had to outspeed Coco with something that didn't resist, like Mega Manectric. I wasn't expecting it. But, like, I mentioned Heatran, even if it was Max Speed Scarf, I don't think it was outspeeding. And then Holucha, I was really surprised he didn't bring it, though I had Kofag, which kind of nullified its entire gimmick with the terrain, the Unburden. It had Haze as well, so any Swords Dance or boost it would have gotten outside of the Unburden boost were gone anyways. Which I mean I would have been stuck in the Haze, but I'm okay with that. To be only hit by the Acro, only to take away its entire Unburden boost because of Mummy. So I send in Roserade here. He gets spooked out because I live the Shadow Ball. I Sludge Bomb because I'm destroying everything from here on out. I sub, which I gotta give shoutouts to Crystal right here. I think we fight Crystal week 9. He's coach of the gang shit Garchomps. Gang shit. I'm sorry, I had to check because I failed this recording earlier. I failed it twice. I forgot to change scenes, and the capture decided to kill itself mid-recording too, and then I didn't know during. So this is my 3rd or 4th time recording this. Had to make sure, just in case. I probably would have committed earlier. Probably not. Definitely not. But I would have been seriously mad and recorded tomorrow after work or something. But anyways, shout out to Crystal because I wouldn't have had substitute on this thing had he not came along and said, "Hey, let me take a look at that team." I'm like, "Yo, got you." He said substitute over this set that I had first was Leech Seed Sleep Powder, which I mean Sleep Powder was kind of dumb anyways, but neither one of us said it because I think we both kind of just agreed, mutual agreement in our head, because like Coco, you can't put yourself to sleep or put other monsters to sleep because you can't sleep in Electric Drain. But Roser just racks up the next 2 kills here next turn. There's really no point in trying to delay it. But yeah, we move on to 3-0 plus 10, I believe. This is the best start I've ever had to a PSN season. I don't think I've ever had a positive record going into week 4 before, which is kind of depressing to say, but we usually have long-ish seasons. So, like seasons 3, 4, and 5 were 15 weeks. Grueling. It's over 3 months. It's close to like 5-ish months with playoffs included. But that concludes it. Leave a comment down below to tell me what I should have done, or tell me, hey, you did a great job in specific scenarios. But other than that, I am Zardis1, coaching your HeartHome Haxorus, hoping to continue on this forward momentum. Signing off. See you guys later.